and the big focus, of course, on that India-England match at the semi-final of the T20 World Cup. Virat Kohli managing a 39-ball 50 before he got out. And India taking on England, as we said, for the semi-finals. Hardik Pandya's classic rear guard 29-ball 50 also adding to India, who hoping to make a solid finish against England. Now Virat Kohli lost his wicket for 50 runs. India then banking on Hardik Pandya. Earlier, England's skipper Jos Buttler won the toss and opted to bowl first in the second semi-final of the T20 World Cup at Adelaide. India have featured an unchanged playing 11. Mark Wood and David Malan missed out for England because of injuries. India currently on 157 for 4 in 19.1 overs. They will be looking to finish strongly. The last over seeing a flurry of 4s and 6s with some terrific batting from Hardik Pandya. Before that, Virat Kohli, who was looking to accelerate right after his 50, lost his wicket. Adil Rashid taking a great catch at short third man to cut short Virat Kohli's big innings. Kohli has, of course, been one of the top scorers both in this tournament and for India. So India currently 4 wickets down. And 41 runs came off just 4 overs as India looked for a target of well over 150. Rika joining us at this point. Rika, I can tell you that here at least there's very little work happening. Everyone's sort of, standing in front of the nearest television set that they can find. And, what's the atmosphere like there? And is India going to be happy with this total that they're now looking at, which is probably going to be a little above 150?
Well, India has crossed 150, Ankita. India are right now on 158 for 5. The pictures on your screen are from a little while ago in the afternoon, just before the match started. But right now we have lost Rishabh Pant's wicket. He was, in fact, run out. I can tell you, Ankita, that the Indian fans won't be happy with the kind of runs we have on the board tonight. The engine room was expected to fire. The Virat Kohli did manage to score 50 runs, but it wasn't really the kind of knock that Virat Kohli plays. He was far from fluent. Surya Kumar Yadav was not able to fire tonight. Hardik Pandya, in fact, scored a 50 towards the end. He is right now on 53, having scored from 30 balls. And in fact, it is his half century that has powered India to 158 for 5 right now. And we'll have to see how much further India is able to go. Well, everyone's been saying that a score of 180 plus is a good score on this deck. Because it is a good deck to bat, and English have a few of the powerful strikers of the ball in their side. Their openers have been formidable in this tournament. They're also hurting from that loss against the Irish, and they are peaking at a good time. So we'll of course have to wait and see how the Indian bowlers are able to how much the Indian bowlers are able to restrict the English batsmen tonight, because it will be difficult for them on this deck where the ball seems to come onto the bat. And Hardik Pandya has really shown how to bat.
Briefly, it's turning out to be a very, very good last over for India. A 6 and a 4 of the last couple of balls. So they're already up at 168 for 5. So perhaps they're going to be a little closer to that 180 mark that they had perhaps hoped for. But is it going to be enough? That's of course the big question now.
Well, Ankita, we all know that cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties. So if Arshdeep Singh and Mohammad Shami is able to swing it India's way, then it definitely is going to be India's match. Otherwise, it's going to be a very tough and a very, very close contest between India and England. Most of the, pundits seem to believe that it'll be England's game, given the fact that they are peaking at the right time. And India's engine room hasn't fired, but we'll still have to wait and see. Well, my punt is on India and on India-Pakistan final.
Of course, Rishabh Pant getting run out with just 4 balls left to go. And in fact, one more wicket in...
Hardik Pandya has also gotten out on 63 right now. 168 for 6 is how much India has scored. So England has to score 169 to win that knockout game. Well, this is an India versus England knockout in the ICC World Cups after 35 long years. India did manage to beat England in the Champions Trophy final in 2013. But this looks like it's going to be a very tight match tonight.
So, England set a target of 169, if we can get that up on our flashes as well. Rika, once again, of course, the speculation is going to be about whether that is in fact going to be enough or not. And you said perhaps the Indian dressing room is also not going to be entirely confident going into the second innings, once England start batting. What is the track looking like? Is this going to be an uphill task? Is the pitch likely to deteriorate when England comes into bat?
Well, Shane Watson has spoken ahead of the game saying that it is a very good track to bat on. The ball is coming onto the bat. And while our other batters played very scratchy knocks, Hardik Pandya showed the way to bat on this track. So talking about Hardik, once again, he's an unconventional batter. And so is Surya Kumar Yadav. Even Surya Kumar Yadav was able to stroke a 6 and a 4 on this track, and had he lasted, maybe the complexion of the game would have different. Nevertheless, we had Hardik Pandya fire towards the end tonight, taking India to a score that I can't call competitive yet, but it is still a good score, and 169 will be a difficult target for England to achieve if Shami and Arshdeep work well tonight.
Let's talk a little more about the Indian batting, Rika. Now, Virat Kohli perhaps has performed most consistently for India right through this tournament. He managed to get his 50 before he got out. But as for the other top order batting, would you say, with the exception of Hardik Pandya, somewhat disappointing performance?
It is a disappointing performance indeed. I hope for India's engine room to fire today. And by the engine room, I meant Surya Kumar Yadav and Virat Kohli both. Kohli was able to strike a half century, but Surya, who's considered as India's #1 batter, not just India's #1 batter, he's ICC's #1 T20 batter, did not manage to fire tonight. And that reaction coming from Adil Rashid after he took his wicket told the story. Had Surya Kumar Yadav fired on this track, India probably could have gone 100 and could have probably gone 200 past. Ankita, remember in this edition of the T20 World Cup, the only difficult team that India had to come up against was South Africa. And that match India couldn't win. The next toughest team that India are facing in this tournament is England, and we'll really have to wait and see how Indian bowlers now do against the English batters. So far as the Indian batting is concerned, I would say that 2 50s coming from the Indian batters, but that may not be enough, given that the English have a very good batting lineup. Though, having said so, they haven't looked the way they are, or I wouldn't say they haven't lived up to their reputation in the tournament. But who knows? Tonight could be a different night.
Tonight could be a different night indeed. But would you say that India did sort of pick up in the second half of their innings, and we did see some fine stroke play from, both those batsmen at the crease, and there was a point when it looked like England could actually restrict India to perhaps under 155.
That's right. Had Hardik Pandya not played that whirlwind knock, India wouldn't have reached as far as they have got in this innings. And it was primarily because of Hardik Pandya's knock towards the end that they have reached a score which they will now probably be able to, I don't know if they will be able to defend, but they will try to defend. Anything less than 150 would have been very, very easy for England given the batting lineup they have.
Okay.
They have,
so it's a little
Jos
more
Buttler.
competitive now, but of course it's really all going to be on the Indian bowlers and of course the Indian fielding
And Ankita,
as well.
we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see what rain does. There is a 20% chance of rain today in Adelaide towards the end of the match. So England will have to really ramp up their innings if they are to remain in this tournament, because they have to be ahead of the rain rule.